Has Daryl Morey done it once again? Look, say what you want about the Sixers general manager. He definitely has had his warts, but Morey has usually done well in the NBA draft, and looks like he might have gotten another great pick in VJ Edgecombe, plus a sleeper free agency signing that we got to talk about. Before we get into all of that, guys, we are on the race to 25,000 subs between us here at 76ers Now and my friend Nick Roloff over at the Miami Heat Report. There's still pretty sizable lead over us right now, just under 700 subs, but we've slowly been catching up. So if you're looking for a place to get your Sixers news, rumors, analysis, summer league talk, and more all year long, hit that sub button and let's catch up to the Miami Heat Report. Look, I know it's summer league, and you never want to react or overreact, I should say, to one individual game, even during the regular season, right? Much less summer league. But that's what I'm going to do here today because, man, VJ Edgecombe was fantastic in his summer league debut for the Sixers on Saturday against the Utah Jazz from start to finish. He looked like a professional out there. He looked like the clear best player on the floor against Ace Bailey, by the way. Don't want to make the whole thing VJ versus Ace. We're going to focus on VJ here today, but man, what a phenomenal performance it was in just 30 minutes played. Of course, summer league games are 10-minute quarters, so a little bit shorter games there. 28 points to go along with 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 13 to 27 from the field, just 1 of 7 from 3, but did have a couple of heaves there at the end of the game as the Sixers were trying to get back into it, trying to tie it up at the end. They did end up losing this game, but also added 3 offensive rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, and was a plus 10, again, in a game that they did end up losing. Really impressed me across a variety of different aspects. The thing that stood out to me the most, I think, when it came to just watching him play the game is VJ wasn't forcing anything. Yes, he took 27 shots, so you're thinking, man, he was really getting them up. He was just chucking them up whatever he wanted, but I don't really think there was a single time that VJ took a shot and I was like, man, that wasn't the right look, or he rushed that. He wasn't composed. He wasn't in the flow. Every shot he took seemed to come naturally. It was a good look. He wasn't forcing anything, which, again, very impressive for a player playing in his first NBA level game after being the number 3 overall pick. Obviously, the athleticism, we knew that was going to translate, but really saw it on display in this game. Running the fast break, a couple of monster dunks, almost had another monster dunk that ended up getting blocked, just showing it off all over the floor, especially on the defensive end as well. Of course, we know defense, his calling card, and he was able to show that off as well. Where I was particularly impressed offensively, though, was his mid-range game. Took a lot of mid-range jumpers and, didn't hit all of them, but the shot looked very smooth. He was able to get to his spots in that area. Some of the best scorers in the NBA. You want to be a true 3-level scorer, superstar in this league, you got to have that mid-range bag in your game. And a lot of players usually just shoot the 3 or get to the rim. They don't have that in-between game. VJ looks like he has that in-between game. It's a good-looking shot. A little bit flat on the shot, but look, if it goes in, it goes in. Also, just a high motor, high energy player. Even for someone who was the 3rd overall pick, we know his background. He's always playing hard, even in summer league, right? Like making these effort plays, chasing down to get blocks in the fast break, just always playing 110%. He was talking trash out there too, man. I absolutely love it. Just showcasing the full personality and the full motor, what he brings out there on the floor every single play. And as I mentioned earlier, just looked like a vet. Looked like someone who honestly shouldn't be playing in Summer League, but I hope he does continue to play because it's so exciting to watch him out there on the floor. Look, again, it's just one Summer League game, right? But based off of what we've seen from him in this one game, looks very, very good and looked out of place, honestly, in the Summer League compared to everybody else. Even some of the guys on the Sixers' own roster who have played NBA minutes, like Justin Edwards, like Adam Bona, who we'll get to in a second. Look, he definitely needs to put on some weight. Does look a little bit skinny out there when you watch him play, but that'll come with time, right? The jump shot from 3, we'd like to see a little bit better results. But again, just one game, and I think the shot does look good, and we saw the results from the mid-range. Did hit a nice catch-and-shoot 3 early on in the game. So, look, plenty of time for him to grow, plenty of areas still improve. And yes, it's just one summer league game, but looked like the much better player as compared to someone like Ace Bailey, who I was saying the Sixers should have taken at number 3, who did not have a very good game in this one against Philadelphia. So got to give some credit, man, to Daryl Morey. We talked about this a few times on the show, but Morey definitely has his moments where you're frustrated with the way he's building the organization, giving out these big contracts to older players, and relying really on the super team model. But he has done a really good job in the NBA draft and even an undrafted free agency. The Tyrese Maxey pick, a steal, tremendous. Jared McCain pick, looking like that was a steal. He found Adem Bona in the second round. He found Justin Edwards as an undrafted free agent. You even go back to players like Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed, who aren't on this team anymore, were great values for where he was able to get them. So Daryl Morey looking like he might have done it again here with VJ Edgecombe, finding, I'm not going to call it necessarily a steal because it's a 3rd overall pick, but just killing it and crushing it in the NBA draft, including a little bit we're going to talk about in Janai Broome, the 2nd round pick, because we look at some other notable performances from that first summer league game. It wasn't just all VJ Edgecombe. Adem Bona, I thought, looked really, really good. He was dunking on everybody out there. 16 points, 8 rebounds. Of course, an efficient 8 of 11, getting all his work done inside, taking some people off the dribble, too. A quick first step for Adem Bona that he did display a little bit last season, and of course, that athleticism. Once he gets to the rim, he is dunking everything. Did have 8 fouls in this game. You get 10 fouls in summer leagues. 8 fouls is absolutely ridiculous. That's been his biggest problem, though, is as good of a defender as he is, he fouls a ton, needs to be more disciplined. Want to see that improve because got to stay on the floor to show off your skills. I think he could be the Sixers' backup center this year, but got to cut down on the fouls. Justin Edwards started off pretty slow in this one, but not too concerned about it. 5 of 13 from the field. Came on a little bit more towards the end of the game, and even though the shot wasn't falling, was doing some other things well. And then Janai Broome, as I mentioned, look, I wasn't a big fan of this pick. I didn't think his skill set would translate very well to the NBA, but had a solid outing, 13 points, 5 rebounds. Shot just 4 of 11 from the field, missed a couple bunnies right there at the rim. Did hit 2 threes, which is promising. The shot's a little bit slow, and there was a possession I remember towards the end of the game where he had an open corner 3 he could have taken to try to tie the game or maybe take the lead, and just didn't feel comfortable enough to pull the trigger. But look, if he can hit a couple threes, definitely saw moments where the lack of athleticism was a concern, where he wasn't able to rise up to get a rebound or wasn't able to jump high enough to put up a layup that he missed at close range. But encouraging signs from Broome. You can see the skill set, the rebounding, and just the IQ out there in display as well. But man, VJ Edgecombe, the absolute story of the game. And hopefully we're going to get to see it again tonight here on Monday, July 7th. The Sixers take on the OKC Thunder. That game at 7 p.m. Eastern. No reason to believe VJ won't be playing again in that one. So if you're excited about VJ Edgecombe and the future, what he can bring to this 76ers squad, even though it's been one game, spam VJ down in the comment section down below. Let's get it going for the Sixers' 3rd overall pick. But throwing it back to an older Sixers draft pick, and obviously a more established player here in Tyrese Maxey. Got to tell you guys about this fantastic deal over at Fanatics. This Tyrese Maxey shirt, jersey, or jersey, if you will, on clearance, it is half off right now. Was $40 to get your hands on one of these City Edition shirts. Now it is only $20, currently available in all sizes. But with this great deal, guys, it's going to go fast. So go over to chatsports.com/Maxey sale. That'll take you to Fanatics, and you can get one of your own Tyrese Maxey jerseys today. Again, 50% off, down from $40 to just $20, limited time only, so do not wait. Go ahead, get your Tyrese Maxey City Edition shirt jersey today, chatsports.com/Maxey sale. Not just VJ Edgecombe I want to talk about here as a potential steal and great move by Daryl Morey. I want to talk about Jabari Walker. Did a short on the Jabari Walker signing when it happened over the weekend. Didn't get to talk about it too much in depth on the show yet, though, so I want to address it. Sixers signed Jabari Walker to a 2-way contract, so not an official roster spot, but does take up that final 2-way spot. They also have Alex Reese and Hunter Salas, who we have yet to see in Summer League. Sixers rookie curse. Someone always has to get injured before they can start playing, so Salas will miss some time. But look, for Jabari Walker, a player who late 2nd round pick by Portland a few years back, spent his first 3 years of his career there, and the numbers don't absolutely stand out to you. They don't flash, but he was a player that in this offseason, most people thought would at least get a deal for a true roster spot for a team. Now, you look at his numbers, steadily improving on the 3-point efficiency, and I'll touch that in a moment, but the field goal percentage steadily improving. Had a little bit better counting stats in 2023-24 compared to this past season, but look, still a young player. He's 6'9", 215 pounds, 22 years old. At that forward spot, really does fill the void the Sixers lost when Gershon Yabusele left for the New York Knicks. Just unbelievable, some of the stuff he's been saying about the Sixers as well, but that's for another time there with Gershon. But bringing in someone like a Trent Watford, now bringing in someone like a Jabari Walker, you can see Daryl Morey and his plan to try to get younger at that spot and bring in some guys that with different skill sets that can fill that void. I mentioned 57th pick back in 2022, so for a very late second round pick, not a bad start to his career by any means. Does bring that rebounding the Sixers desperately need. He's played some small ball 5 for the Blazers as well, so brings that skill set. Sixers have been an awful rebounding team. Now, you saw the numbers. He shot almost about 40% from 3 last year. It is on very low volume, so not someone I'm expecting to even shoot as well as Gershon did last year, but could that be in there? Because previously to this season, he hadn't shot over 30% from 3. Last year, he did. Maybe it's just an improving part of his game that he can continue to show off in the coming seasons. And a hustle, energy player. Again, another guy that can come into this culture and just play hard, play fast, play physical. Someone that absolutely fits this city of Philadelphia and what Daryl Morey is trying to get this team to play like heading into next season. And I think on a 2-way contract, again, he's not even signed to a standard contract on the standard roster. Just an absolute steal. I think Jabari Walker should have been signed at least to a regular contract on some team out there. I think with his skill set, he's still young. With the needs he brings to this team, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a good amount of playing time for the Sixers squad, especially if there are injuries here and there. So a great signing on a 2-way contract. Got to give some props to Daryl Morey as well for this one. Even though, I haven't loved some of the moves they've made this offseason, particularly like bringing in Eric Gordon back, I think this is a move I got to give him props for. I know a lot of people, when we were live for free agency, were talking about Jabari Walker potentially bringing him in. So glad to get him in the building. Unfortunately, he won't be playing in Summer League, though. I think just signed a little bit too late to officially be on that roster, but excited to see what he can do for this team. So great deciding for me of Jabari Walker on that 2-way contract, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to give it probably a B+, A-. I mean, it's super low risk, right? A 2-way deal. Hopefully he can make an impact for the Sixers squad with his skills there at the 4. All right, that'll do it for today's show. Be sure to hit that sub button because tomorrow, got an interesting video for you guys talking about a blockbuster trade that happened today in the NBA, how that could impact the 76ers. So hit that sub button, lock us in, and we'll catch you next time right here on 76ers Now.